Well, let's see how my last interactive video went. Holy crap! Hey guys, welcome back to a whole new another video. Today, I'll be talking about one of the most productive locomotives that has ever been used in most recent history, or maybe in fact of all time. And it's also given a nickname. It's called the GEVO. If you love it or hate it, the GEVOs are one of the most produced locomotives of all time, surpassing the SD40-2s and the GP38-2s in many, by probably over 4 to 5 times in its history of 17 years, and still coming out with more GEVOs. But if y'all ask me, if you're not part of the railfan community, or anything in general with any trains or some sort, y'all ask me, what is a GEVO and what makes it a GEVO, and can you tell us what it is? Well, yes, I'll tell you exactly what a GEVO is. So, but before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe buttons for more interactive videos and continuing on. So, let's get started into the video. The ES44AC was General Electric's successor to its very popular AC4000CW model in the 1990s, which sold nearly 3,000 examples between 1994 to 2004. The ES44AC featured the new company's model of the GEVO Prime Mover, a 12-cylinder power plant that met the Environmental Protection Agency's, or the EPA, Tier 2 standards, which went into effect on January 1st, 2005. The AC4000CW had established a new standard in mainline locomotives, one that utilized more efficient and powerful AC traction motors in place of the DC motors. Direct current technology has been the industry standard since electric motors and first FTs rolled out of LaGrange, Illinois in 1939. GE changed the game in the 1980s when it not only surpassed EMDs as the industry's top manufacturer, but also continually pushed the envelope on locomotives efficiency. The AC44CW signaled the end of DC traction motors in mainline locomotives, although some railroads continued to request them time after time into the early Evolution series. Notably, the ES40DC and the ES40DC as well. GE stopped producing locomotives with DC traction motors after wrapping up production on these locomotives. Its ET Tier 4 locomotives are produced only as AC traction main stages tried a true engine, the FDL, which was able to meet EPA's Tier 0 standards from 1973 to 2001, and the Tier 1 standards, which was short-lived from 2002 to 2004. These originally had been established in December 1997 and made retroactive locomotives produced after 1973, with more stringent standards under the Tier 2 emissions set to take effect on January 1st, 2005. GE realized it needed a new engine variant. The company no longer felt like the FDL could do so without seriously sacrificing performance and efficiency. Following hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development for a couple of years, GE unveiled its new GEVO Prime Mover in March 2002 when it tested number 2005, rolled out of Erie, Pennsylvania. This engine was a 12-cylinder power plant GEVO that could still produce the same 4,400 horsepower as its predecessor. In addition, GE engineers had designed the GEVO to meet future emission standards, notably the Tier 3, which took effect on January 1st, 2012, and the Tier 4 took effect on January 1st, 2015. By the 2000s, GE was the industry standard in locomotive production. The company has surpassed EMD long ago, thanks largely to its efforts of employing technology to lower operational costs and improve locomotive efficiency. As a result, railroads were willing to purchase its latest products almost immediately. Most notably were the GE AC 6000 CWs, which are now retired, from the 1990s, which could produce a eye-watering 6,000 horsepower. These monsters featured a redesigned engine, the 7HDL, a product built in conjunction with a renowned engine manufacturer, the German company Des Motoren Wagemann, or the MWM, of Germany. Ultimately, this power plant ran into reliability issues while railroads discovered a single 6,000 horsepower behemoth was too much for their needs, so they downgraded to the 4,400 horsepower model. However, this did not stop Union Pacific from placing orders immediately, even before the new engine was ready for product and production, by acquiring the convertible variants that supported the standard 4,400 horsepower 7 FDL engine. The idea here was that these locomotives could later be refitted with a new 7 HDL when it got remodeled once it was ready. In the end, this never occurred. In this case of the ES44AC, General Electric produced some 35 examples of what it could be described as demonstrators. The locomotives sported the liveries of their respective railroads on which they tested, similar to its approach with the GE C40-8s, or the Dash 8s for example. These demonstrators were impossible to distinguish as test beds, but remained wholly owned GE products during the 2003 to 2004 trials, and ultimately were purchased by their respective railroads. First with BNSF and Union Pacific. Once again, Union Pacific was the very first to test the GE's latest AC traction product, like I just said, with GE initially dubbed as the AC V12 Tier 2 pre-production, which the Tier 2s took place between the years 2002 through 2004, acquiring 5 of the locomotives in early 2003, dubbed as the numbers 5695 through 5699, 5 of them that were bought. Next, BNSF acquired a whopping 30 units for GEVO between August 2003 and January 2004, numbers 5718 and 5747. So, how many locomotives were produced? In total, there has been a whopping 3,764 GEVOs that were built from 2005 to continuing throughout today. BNSF also went on to acquire the very first production of ES44ACs between January through July 2005. So, General Electric has largely standardized its row switcher car body since the 1990s, featuring the North American safety cab, or the wide cab in short, after the standard cab, following by the long card body and the wide reared flared radiators. As such, at first glance, it is difficult to distinguish an ES44AC from the earlier AC44 CW because they are 73 feet long and in length. Sport an AUX cab on the left side of the car body for an AC traction circuitry, and are equipped with either GE's high ADs or steerable trucks. Perhaps the only reliable identifier, aside from the road numbers themselves, is a small bulge along the top of the radiator wing, which is not present in the AC44 CWs. So, with that being said, the GEVOs that has been built so much throughout its 15-year history of them has a long history of producing a lot of GEVOs. Is it hated by so many people? Yes, but there's a reason why so many people hate it, because there's so many of them. It feels like it's a common occurrence every single day, with many horns. There might be different horns on other locomotives that might have been replaced, like K5H or K5LAs and all that stuff, but it also who keeps the three horns. Which one is the very first generation K5HL, the second K5HL, and of course the most used horn nowadays, the third gen K5HL. For the engine builders, or for General Electric, as GEVO -12s, or the 12-cylinder locomotives. And the horsepower, with 4,400 of them, makes it very reliable for hills to overcome, and its rotations per minute is a impressive 1,050, and its length is about 73 feet and all that, and its height is 15 feet and 5 inches, and its width is 9 feet and 11 inches, with its weight that can vary up to 416,000 pounds to 432,000 pounds, with its fuel capacity at 5,000 gallons, and its air compressor from the Westinghouse, a 3 CDC, and its air brake, also produced from the Westinghouse, is the 26L. The trucks are CC as well, and the truck types are the high 8 boisterous or steerable, produced by General Electric, and its truck wheelbase is 13 feet and 2 inches, and the wheel size have a circumference, or its biggest height is at 42 feet, and its traction motors are built with the GEB 13s with 6 axles coming from them, and the traction alternator GM205 is also produced to help with that, and the auxiliary is the GYA 30A, which can be displayed right here. In the MU, the multiple unit can be possible, since it is mostly the most dominant, and it's sometimes held by other GEVOs as well, because what do you need a GEVO for if you need help? And dynamic brakes are pretty much an option on GEVOs by this point, and the gear ratio is 83 to 20, and the tractive effort in the starting is 183,000 pounds, and the tractive effort continuous is 166,000 pounds at 13.7 miles per hour, and the top speed they're able to achieve is 70 miles per hour. And that is all what the GEVO is, how is it built, and what it serves for all the railroads across the entire country. Either if you love it or hate it because of how boring it could possibly be, the GEVOs are still the backbone of all the railroads across North America, with them being produced in Canada, United States, Mexico, and even some in Brazil and Colombia as well. So, with that being said, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons for another interactive video, and God bless you, and peace.